don't call 1-800-ASK-GARY because...
Or don't call 155-GARY-WHO.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're going to find the appropriate legal defense, it's important that, you could say you're looking for an attorney that's hawkish, if you will.
Yeah.
You could say maybe you're looking for an attorney that's got an eagle eye for legal loopholes.
He's got very good vision, yeah.
Or you could hire a stuffed owl to be your attorney.
I was also going to go with maybe... go ahead.
Who?
Exactly.
I was going to go with maybe you have a guy who just throws up the bones because he can't digest them. So this guy, Charles Abbott, literally brought a stuffed owl and sat it on the desk and said, "This is my attorney." He appointed a stuffed owl as his attorney.
Was he going for a mentally challenged charge?
I'm not sure, but
defense?
he violated a protection order involving his former roommate Michael Strahan. I don't know if it's exactly the Michael Strahan. Hey, it's quite a gap to say that it might be the Michael Strahan that we're talking about.
I was totally going to make a Gap reference, too.
High five. Ben and I high-fived without you guys seeing because you can't see us because we're on the radio. An order filed after Abbott allegedly assaulted Strahan at Alcohol Anonymous meeting, and we all know that Michael Strahan is not an alcoholic, so it's probably a different Michael Strahan, just to let you know. So the gap is there, folks, as we did say before. So he went to the home to retrieve belongings, which he wasn't allowed to be there. So he ended up going into court, placed a fuzzy owl on the defense table, and told the judge, this is Solomon. This is the owl. It would
Again,
be
who?
It would be his legal counsel until a public defender was assigned to the case, of course. He's a very sensitive guy. He has law degrees from Yale, Harvard, and Stanford.
Wow.
So I think he'll be able to represent me until the public defender comes online.
Now, Miggy, what was he convicted for?
He violated an order. He wasn't allowed to go to this house. Protection order. He wasn't allowed to go to the house of Michael Strahan.
He wasn't allowed to go to the house. Now, the attorney is a stuffed owl, and his name is Solomon, right?
Right.
Did Solomon make the argument that they should cut the house in half?
Well, he...
Little biblical joke for you there.
Thank you. It's a house divided. So he placed the owl on the table, and the judge pretty much ignored the owl the whole time. And the owl didn't really have much to say, obviously. But Strahan said he amend the court to allow mediation. Strahan declined to say that he felt very safe in proximity to Abbott.
Look, I'll tell you why the owl didn't have much to say. The trial was obviously during the day, and everyone knows that owls are nocturnal. So
not all owls.
He was sleeping.
I think that there was a bias, and I think that Solomon should have been given the proper time of the day to plead his case.
Reminds me of a story where we had a potato look like a duck.
What if this was a real owl and you were on the jury?
What if it was North Korea?
And the owl just all of a sudden did one of those things where he looks from the other direction and just turned and stared at you with a dramatic stare?
In North Korea, your defense attorney that happens to be a stuffed owl would plead that you're innocent.
Saruman.
He would plead that you're innocent. Saruman would plead that you're innocent. That's all I have to say.
I think we have a lot of North Korea feel today because we have a North Korea story later.
We do.
Stay tuned for that. We're definitely stay tuned for that. But Abbott is not allowed to attend the same church. Of course, he goes to church, and I think his congregation is going to be super stoked about this cute little hairy owl. Maybe he'll bring him to church with him. I don't know.
All right, well, guys, we got to jump into another quick commercial break. When we get back,
said commercial.
When we get back, some NHL hockey to get into. Stay with us.
First, there was 5-hour energy, and then there was 6. Now you can get a continuous 48 hours of energy because cardiac arrest is taking energy drinks to a whole new level.
Just one bottle has kept me up for days!
Cardiac arrest contains a formula that was once only available to Chinese military personnel.
You don't get that rundown feeling because you're never gonna come down!
Cardiac arrest is making dieting a thing of the past.
Don't worry about the calories because you're never gonna feel hungry!
Cardiac arrest is gonna get your motor running.
My bowels have been empty for weeks and I feel great!
Look for cardiac arrest energy drinks at a flea market or fireworks stand near you.
Hello, this is Professor Ptolemy Tyson for ESB Brewing.
where the birth of chemically created libations is paramount. Here at ESB Brewing, our happy yeast has perfectly metabolized our recipe of malt sugars to create the finest baby bubbles of carbon dioxide, bodaciously fantastic flavors, and the Mr. Feelgood chemical ethanol. Come congregate and ruminate over ESB's amazing concoctions. Hey, Harry Carey here. Just because I'm Tor on the Cobb doesn't mean you shouldn't be Tor on the Cranial Emission Show with Ben Charles, Miguel Hito, and the Reverend Joey T. And what's Tor on the Cobb, you might ask? It's the king of beers, but it's the new king of beers, ESB Brewery.
Welcome back to the Cranial Emission Show, the beginning of the second hour of the program. Sancho.
Yes?
That you played that Harry Carey Station ID like 2 commercial breaks ago.
I find Miggy just telling you didn't have enough thing to go here. He's trying to do that.
You know, you got to do your job, man.
I can't find it. I put everything in a folder and I had to restart and it's not good now. Hey, somebody's in the chatting box. Oh, Nicole, she's at the bar. And then Chuck said, am I bad for calling you? I'm a jerk off. Wow. He didn't say that, really. I just made that up.
You just ad-libbed. NHL news to get into here. Like I mentioned, here in the Cranial Emission Show, we broadcast here from Tampa, Florida for over 4 years. Broadcasting tonight live from ESB Brewing here at 333 North Falkenberg Road, Suite D.
Sweet
Sweet.
Sweet D!
407. Four different taps to choose from, 4 different beers to choose from behind the bar. Go and see the naughty Nicole to pour you a pint of ESB's finest.
That's so fit.
You want to call in, you want to be a part of the show, you can do so, 813-438-6068. But the NHL news to get into here, the Lightning, the Heart Attack Kids, as I've been calling them lately.
Who's that beautiful lady walking up, by the way? She's pretty hot.
Oh, there you go. You've got Mrs. Crispy herself walking up.
Is your real last name Crispy? I didn't know it's Crispy. Are you wearing snowflake earrings? It's so hot out.
Sancho, are you checking out Caleb's wife?
No, what? No, it's where you make me stop it.
I don't know. He's blushing. I think he's checking out your
he's
wife.
He's brown,
Caleb.
and I can tell he's blushing.
Yeah.
It's all right, Sancho.
Anyway, NHL playoffs in the news, and the Lightning. I tell you what, it's you looked at the last series, and that's when you began to finally see the offense of the Lightning come out of its shell. What's funny to me, man, is you look last series, all the talk about facing who will probably win the Vezina Trophy in Carey Price, the goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens, who had a monster year. It's undeniable he's going to win the Vezina. He may even win the Hart Trophy for MVP of the league, which goaltenders rarely win in the NHL. He may win.
He might.
He may win. The playoffs probably didn't help, and they're not supposed to count the playoffs into it, but obviously they kind of do.
Ovechkin might win that because, a lot of the time they give the MVP to the top goal scorer.
Well, rarely they give it to a goaltender, but all the talk of Carey Price, we solved him. The Lightning solved him, scored many a goal on him. And then Lundqvist comes around. Here comes Henrik Lundqvist, the king, as everyone loves to call Henrik Lundqvist, the goaltender for the Rangers, who had gone X amount of games. I can't remember how many consecutive games he went where he didn't allow more than 1 goal or 2 goals.
It was 13 games.
Wow. And here come the Lightning. And the first game, they lost 2-1.
As pretty much predicted by the play of Henrik Lundqvist and the New York Rangers.
Which has been an ongoing thing. The Rangers have traditionally, through this playoffs, won or lost games that were 2-1 scores. But then here comes Game 2. We saw against Montreal the offensive explosion they had in Game 2, and that one, another 6-goal game. And lo and behold, a 6-2 ass-whooping.
Full-on routing.
Against the Rangers in that game. And then Game 3 comes along, and who could have seen a 6-5 final score? I mean, you don't see 6-5 games in the regular season nowadays, let alone in the playoffs.
That game was fantastic. I was worn out just from back and forth and back and forth. That was a fantastic game to watch.
I fully agree with you on that one. I mean, I was tired. I was just like you.
Yeah.
I was tired by the end of that game. I started. I was here at the brewery. I brought the TV up. Which if you guys, are you guys going to Stacy's after this?
I don't know.
I
yet.
don't
Because
know.
I got the TV here, and we can watch the game live if you guys want to hang out, drink some beers, and watch the game. But I brought the TV up here in the last couple of games to be able to watch it. and we're watching the first period, going, "Oh my God, it's 2-0, and then all of a sudden the Lightning score.
When it went to overtime, I was upset. I was like, "Oh crap! I can't take more of this."
I started developing this really weird little people have like a little superstition kind of thing when you do your things. I wear my flip flops while I'm watching the game, and when it's in the defensive zone, I take my flip flops and put them on, and then when it's in the offensive zone, I take them off. So I'm constantly putting them on, taking them off, and every time it's really strange. I've developed this, and I don't know what the hell is going on, but every time I've done this, and the whole game they've won, and they've won by dramatic fashion. It's very strange, but obviously it's a whole bunch of crap, but.
Man, I bet you were worn out then.
I was worn out. My feet were all calloused.
Well, keep doing what you're doing because it seems to be working. But you look at this game, and it was, for the first time in the series, what was odd about this, for the first time in the series, the Lightning completely outshot the Rangers. The first two games were not like that.
Was it 37-20 or something like that?
Completely outshot them. They had the majority of offensive possession in the game. They played virtually the entire game in the Rangers' defensive zone. And were it not for some defensive breakdowns, Matt Carl, or a screen goal by Derek Brassard on a bad penalty within the first minute by Cedric Paquette,
right?
Then this game wouldn't have been 2-0 to begin with, and all of a sudden, you saw. The funny thing was, because of the way the offense has been clicking, because of how much the offense has been picking up, and not just, obviously the triplet line has been doing what they've been doing the whole series, the whole playoff. But you've seen the emergence of Stamkos and Killorn now, the way that they've been playing.
The twin line?
And, exactly.
Killorn's face when he scored that goal was just like, yeah!
Well, and he's a huge bench guy. If you talk to players in the Lightning, they absolutely adore Killorn because this guy's constantly chirping. He's a big presence in the locker room. But you look at the way they've been playing now. Some hard-nosed playing too. Stamkos, when he put that hit down, that hit that he laid.
Oh my God!
Now, is it any coincidence too? Let me ask you this: is it any coincidence that line has gotten better since they took, and I love Callahan, but since they took Callahan off that line and they put Filppula on that line with Killorn and Stamkos?
Well, Filppula's got a hell of a lot of experience.
They're a hell of a lot better with him on the line.
I agree.
The chemistry is much different than with Callahan. Not that Callahan's not a great player.
He's awesome.
But Filppula is a much different type of player, and the chemistry is more supportive of that when you see that.
Filppula is a really good feeder, and a scorer. The guy can score some goals, but he's a hell of a feeder. And when he's with Stamkos, it's awesome to watch. It's very awesome to watch. But did you watch the presser at the end of the game and to see Lundqvist in the presser at the end of the game?
Yeah.
Did he not look like a shell-shocked veteran?
He looked dejected.
He looked shell-shocked, like he was just staring out into the nothing.
He gave up 12 goals in the last 2 games.
He's only done that. He's only given up 5 or more goals 3 times, and twice was to the Lightning.
Yep.
In this whole season.
So again, you see.
Well, no, they showed. I think it was in his career, and 4 of the times to the Lightning.
No, this was this year.
Oh, one of the
Lightning beat him.
Was that with the
they were
graphic
5,
was
and then they threw 6 on him in one game.
So again, you see another.
It was just this year.
Oh wow.
Another top tier goaltender, Carey Price first. Now Henrik Lundqvist, arguably 2 of the best goaltenders in the league. If you had to give me a list of the top 5 goaltenders in the NHL.
Oh, they'd be in the top 3.
Wouldn't you say Price and Lundqvist would be in the top 5 easily? If not the top 3?
Yeah,
top 3. I say maybe Johnny Quick's in there.
Johnny Quick, when he's hot.
When he's hot?
Yeah, when he's hot. Johnny
so,
Quick's in there.
Who would have thought that this would happen? And it's scary because the Lightning offense is becoming more and more prodigious over time.
I agree.
One of the things that scared me about it was, and I've been calling for it for the whole playoffs, they need to be more aggressive. They need to stop. They do play with such finesse, but they almost, for lack of a better term, puss out when it comes down to hitting people for the back checking and stuff like that. That was not the case this game. I almost was afraid they were going to take it too far. There were a couple hits that were pretty questionable that they were laying people out, which is great to see. But how it scares you when especially last night, or was it last night? No, 2 nights ago when they were calling everything.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't swallowing the whistle. They were calling everything, and I was getting a little afraid that they were going to be a little too aggressive at times.
The penalties that were being called were pretty egregious penalties that were let on in the first place. I mean, the Lightning played sloppy as hell.
You got to call high sticks.
You got to call.
You got to call late cross checks. And it was funny. I was reading an article about the penalties. That was in the entire playoffs across the board, not just Lightning game.